Decorating Center. And a good morning. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. This will be an open phone hour. Whatever you'd like to talk about, 989-752-6111. I pulled an article down. We've talked about the roads a lot and local funding for roads. And this article from the Free Press headlined, Michigan leaders still talking while drivers are dodging potholes. Now, this particular story relates to Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties, but it doesn't matter because no matter where you go, you're going to find the same situation. The governor, the Republican House leadership, have put proposals on the table, funding proposals, and they may differ, but the goal was the same, rebuilding and maintaining Michigan's roads for the long term. The problem is, at least on the governor's side, it's always been the interstate highways and the state roads, not the local streets. Now, we need to worry about the local streets. But everybody is saying the Senate leadership must now play a key role in bringing it home. And they have yet to do it. And, of course, that leadership is only by one vote. And, of course, one is missing, the 35th senatorial district seat, for which we do not have a representative, and the governor has refused to call a special election. It would help for all of us to have representation. But the bigger question is, as the governor put it when she first ran for office, let's fix the damn roads. Well, let's say fix the damn roads and streets. Now, many counties and geopolitical entities have put up their own millages where their own residents have supported spending money to fix the roads in their community to some degree. But the state needs to come forward with some revenue sharing to speed the process up and make it more uniform across the state. It's estimated that to truly fix the Michigan roads, it's been estimated to cost $3.9 billion in annual investment. It's a little less than 5% of the $80 billion budget. Infrastructure work, of course, all this work supports high-paying jobs, so it is good for the economy, and the state gets some of it back in income tax. But the question on the table is, how should we pay for local roads and streets? In some neighborhoods, in some of the townships, for example, if they go into a subdivision, let's say, that needs street repair, and they want to recap the surface or rebuild the street for that matter, they get together with all the citizens, and those citizens affected, let's say those that live on that particular stretch in the subdivision, they get to vote as to whether or not to have an assessment that they pay for in their taxes. And if they vote yes, then the road gets built and they get billed. If they vote no, the road stays the same. It seems to me, in this day and age, where everybody's mobile, everybody has a car, most everybody has a car, streets and roads are darn important because if they don't fix them, we end up fixing our vehicles at a high cost. And today, the cost of repair is skyrocketing. So I think it's about time the state Senate gets their act together, comes up with a proposal so they can sit down with the Republicans and hash out a solution. Because this other article in the Free Press said Michigan drivers rack up thousands in yearly vehicle costs due to poor roads. And think about that. Think of the beating that your suspension, tires, and wheels take every time you run over a pothole or a rough road. It wears on your car. And I'm just at the point where, I'm old enough now to have driven almost all of those bad roads. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to know that you can't get from point A to point B without potentially, depending where you're going, do damage to your car. So it's time for them to sit down. I mean, listen, it's time for the Senate Democrats to put forward their whole budget plan, and it all needs to be hashed out. There's probably good ideas on both sides, and you need to pick and choose and get them together and get it done. But in this day and age, we are so enamored with playing politics, which is what the governor's doing by not calling a special election, that we lose sight of what really needs to be done. What's the reality of today's world and the things that we have to do as a society to take care of ourselves? And it just seems that politics has lost sight of it. That's too bad for us. Anyhow, just thought I'd bring it up. Talk about that or anything else you'd like to chat about. 989-752-6111, the number to call.
Lehman's Green Apple Barn.
Good phones, 989-752-6111. Just heard the promo about the Lions and the poll. And I've been thinking about how well they're going to do this year. And to me, it doesn't depend on the names you just heard, Goff and so forth. To me, it's going to depend on the new offensive coordinator and the new defensive coordinator and how well they get the offense and defense ready. Because last year we had a couple of goats in that position, the greatest of all time. They were really good. They've gone on to other coaching, and they had to be replaced. So now the question is, how good are the replacements? From everything we've heard, they're good, but who knows? So I think the Lions are going to have a good season. I don't know that it'll be as good as last year's record, but it'll be good and it'll be a winning record, and they'll make the playoffs. And then we take it from there. Some organizations are predicting they are in the top 5 of those that could win the Super Bowl, and let's hope they're right. And then there's the Tigers. They've gone through an up and down since the All-Star game. This last week was down. That's the first time they've been swept in a long time. And it just means they need to work harder at the basics. They're still a good team. They have a great offense. They have a great defense. Good pitching core. But we were spoiled in the first half of the year thinking that they were untouchable. And what happens is other teams learn to read them and learn how to pitch to them. And you see that in the lessening of the offensive statistics. But I am an optimist. For certain, they're going to make the playoffs. Hopefully, they keep the lead so they can get a bye in the playoffs and don't have to go through the wild card rounds and all that. And I would love to see them. Let's face it, nothing is better than a World Series appearance. And I really hope the Tigers can pull it off this year. They got tough competition out there. It's not a given. They got to make it through all the rounds of the playoffs. But I just think they have the wherewithal to do it, and they will pull together at the right time. In some ways, there is a benefit to going through a losing streak and then turning it around. You get it out of your blood because they know how to win. It's just a question of putting all the pieces together at the right time. And the time to peak is just before the playoffs. So that you go into the playoffs and you're ready to play ball, as they say. All right, we got some calls coming in here at 989-752-6111. Carol, our friend in Sheridan, is with us. Carol, good morning.
Good morning, friend. I just wanted you to wash your ears out with this. A gal just stopped, and she had an old dog in the front of her pickup, and they were on an appointment, and they didn't want it to get hit, and so she wanted to know if it was our puppy dog. So,
wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good people around here.
Yeah.
So we should focus on the good, not the bad.
So was it your dog?
Oh, of course not. And I don't know where it is. I don't know who it did have a collar, but she had fostered other dogs, and so she said she'd take it and get it chipped. But she could have just went right by and put
Oh no, yeah. Listen,
so,
absolutely. My little guy is due for a haircut. That reminds me. I gotta get it done.
There goes $50, right?
Exactly. You've been there, huh?
No, but I knew a neighbor, but she said this dog come to their house, but of course I become their best friend. She says he always complained about his haircut, but he never complained about getting the dog a haircut. So, but I just thought that'd be something nice to start the weekend.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it is
lots
funny
and lots
though.
of good people.
Think of this. We spend, particularly if your kids are out of the house now and you've got a dog in the house. Mm-hmm. That dog costs you as much as a kid in medical bills and food. They are part of the family. They're not just there to, to look good. They're part of the family. No two ways about it.
Oh yeah, and the medical bills on dogs.
Oh yeah.
And then and then you got to find somebody to watch them, and we give up. And my husband felt so bad when we lost our one dog. I said, "Well, never ever get another dog because it was as bad as he was just so soft-hearted about that dog. That
yeah.
It was just too much for him to bear. So
oh well.
But he enjoyed it. It's like 120, 140-pound golden retriever that did not mind.
Oh, neat. Oh, didn't mind, huh? Ooh.
No. It's in the house.
I got an 11.5-pound Shih Tzu that does the same thing. So.
Well, enjoy your day, and everybody have a wonderful holiday.
You too. Thanks.
Drive safe and watch out for these motorcycles. I'm telling you, they're popping them off around here right and left.
Yeah, all right. Good
okay.
enough.
Well, you guys take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And let's head down to Birch Run and talk to Dave this morning. Dave, good morning.
Good morning. I am calling about your concern about the roads.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it on good authority. The manager of Star of the West here in Frankenmuth, Voorhees Trucking, which doesn't exist anymore, Hunt Trucking up in the Thumb, that the load limit for trucks in Michigan is twice that of any other state. And they justify that by saying, well, we have more axles, more tires, we're spreading out the load.
Mm-hmm.
And my response is, well, okay, so I put 500 pounds of cinder blocks on your chest, or I spread them out across your abdomen. It's still 500 pounds on your body. And, it's going to hurt. And so you can make that as many tires as you want, but in that space, it's 80,000 pounds on that piece of road.
Yeah.
And I got it. Why are legislatures letting them do this? Why don't they roll that back to a reasonable amount?
Economics.
And I also have it on good authority. This is from a guy who was an engineer for the state of Michigan, the Road Commission. And he said, we could make like the Autobahn in Germany and make that road last for a long time. but the contractors balk at that because it would eliminate their business.
Well, here's
So
the
they
thing
don't want
here's the thing about that. Contractors can balk all they want. If that's the only contract there is to build an Autobahn, don't you think they're going to bid on it? They can balk all they want, but when it comes down to nuts and bolts, when it's on the table, they're going to bid on it because they'll want the job.
Yeah, I guess there aren't that many contractors that kind of left Michigan when we quit building roads. And, boy, there used to be a lot more building the roads, and now there's just a few to choose from. But you're probably right. Somebody's going to build on it.
Somebody's going to build it, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to want that money. No doubt
Yeah.
about it. I don't know if I'd want an Autobahn, though, with unlimited speed. I've seen a lot of videos of cars driving on the Autobahn, and I was a race driver at one time. Many years ago, I raced. I would not drive on the Autobahn.
My point about the Autobahn wasn't not the speed, but the fact that it tends to last.
Well, yeah, whatever the construction technique is. Now we have weather considerations and all of that, but we can still build roads that last. And the reality is, we've done a reasonably good job on the interstates and the Michigan highways. It's the local county roads and city streets that are in bad shape today.
That's true. That's true.
Somehow they've got to get done.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, that's my 2 cents.
Appreciate the call, Dave. Anytime. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Take care.
Yep. And that opens the lines for you, 989-752-6111. That is the number to call as long as we're talking automobiles. Here's another story that was online today. GM plans shift shutdowns at its Factory Zero EV plant in Detroit-Hamtramck. That's where they make their electric vehicles, some of them anyway. The GMC Hummer EV, the Cadillac Escalade IQ are the two vehicles that will be impacted. Production is slated to stop the day after Labor Day and resume on October 6th. And apparently this has to do with market dynamics. Translation, they're not selling to the rate that General Motors expected them to. They aligned production to line up with sales. GM says the market conditions for GMC Hummer EV and SUV and Sierra EV truck, Chevrolet Silverado EV truck, Cadillac Escalade IQ EV SUV not holding up to their expectations, so they had to slow down production. This whole thing about electric vehicles, the reality is, I would guess, if we look 10 years ahead and 10 years from now, we look at what's on the highways, there will be far more electric vehicles. And we will have a better infrastructure for servicing those electric vehicles by charging stations and the like. I think it's inevitable. The problem is they've tried to push it down our throats when we weren't ready for it. And that's an issue. The other issue is there's something called range anxiety. Maybe you've heard that term. It's people that are afraid of running out of juice while they're driving on the highway because they don't get the mileage out of the batteries they expected. And I've said that before. For me, if I were in the market to look for a car, an EV, 260 miles, 300 miles isn't going to do it because those numbers are without turning on accessories. The minute you turn on accessories, those numbers go down. So with the new batteries coming online in predictions of 400 and 500 mile range, You give me something with 500-mile range so that when I turn on all my ACs and all that, I still get 400. I might be willing to look at that. That would probably be okay. But till then, no, range anxiety is a real thing. It's a real thing. Quick break, come back. We'll get to Paul and Saginaw when we return. Let's get some more calls in. Bob is in Alger. Bob, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning to you, Art, and thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
We recently moved to Michigan, and actually I have two things I'd like to kind of weigh in on if you've got time.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of them is we came from Indiana, and both my wife and I needed glasses. We really do in order to drive, and we were somewhat flummoxed when we went to the license branch here. And they said, "Oh, well, you really don't need glasses." Well, let's take the eye exam anyway. I could barely read the second line. And the lady said, "Yeah, that's no problem."
Really?
I see that as a concern. Yeah.
Yeah, because in Michigan, as I understand the law correctly in Michigan, has to be under 2050, I think it is.
Well, whatever it is, neither one of us can read road signs very well until we're right up on them.
That's amazing.
And we know, so we wear our glasses, of course.
I was going to say, please wear your glasses.
We do, of course. We're pretty respectful, and we're getting a little long. We're getting a little long in the tooth. So, we have that kind of a generational mindset. But the other thing is, you just had a caller on EV. I spent until 2.5 years ago 47 years.
Your phone is breaking up a little. I missed what you said there.
I'm sorry. I spent the last 47 years of my life before I retired in the automotive retail business.
Uh-huh.
That's what I did. And I sold. I was new car manager, used car manager, ultimately general manager of several stores. And the last one was a Ford store. And we did sell EVs.
Yep.
I also, as a general manager, handled all the beef stew on it. When something went wrong. And to preface this a little bit, before I got in the car business, I was an electronics engineer. Now it wasn't keys that I worked on; it was radio, television, basically. But we did dabble in, and EVs have been around a very long time. In fact, the first automobiles were electric.
Yep.
And you're right in your analogy in that once it catches on anything, it doesn't matter what it is, then all of a sudden it's mainstream and it's accepted. As going back to my engineering degree and my years in the retail business of selling cars, it would seem to me that we are decades and decades and decades away from that kind of mainstream.
At least one, and I would maybe give you two, maybe even more.
Well,
but yeah, you're right.
I won't be around to see it.
Me either.
But in your analogy, and to take a little bit exception, and not to be rude,
that's all right.
Your analogy of we went from horse-drawn carriages to the gasoline engine is correct, and that was a much more efficient way to get around after about 30 years of development.
Mm-hmm.
But currently, we do have that efficient way to get around with gasoline-powered cars. And the comparison of the extra convenience or how much better it might be maybe pales a little bit in that this is not an alternative most people even consider, in my experience. and I handle tens of thousands of sales of automobiles. The issue, I think, is we're so far behind the technology curve required. No way I can see, and things change daily, but there's no way I can see where we can store electricity in a battery that doesn't weigh twice as much as the average car.
Well, I'll tell you,
where we're at, especially with trucks.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what's happening. All of the manufacturers are doing battery research. I suspect that before long, we're going to see a battery that A, doesn't catch fire, like the current ones do, and B, will be better storage facilities, deliver better power for longer periods of time. That I'm almost assured of. You can see it every day, but it's going to take time.
We went from nickel cadmium to lithium batteries.
Yep.
Right, and the lithium has a great deal more capacity. The problem, of course, is it takes a lot of electronics, an actual computer, to monitor the charging rate and the amount. And
all that good stuff, yeah.
About that. Yeah.
All right.
And that's what has to go away, I think. So,
Bob,
I don't think it's going to be accepted anytime soon. I know you're probably on.
Yeah, I want to grab one more here before we go. So, listen, I appreciate the call. Do it again. Good conversation.
Try to call in again.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye now. See if we can squeeze Charlie in here in Bay City. Charlie?
Hi, Art.
Hi.
I have something new to be concerned about. I stumbled onto the other day.
Real quick.
Yeah, it's got, might not be able to do it in time. This insider trading in Congress.
Yeah.
You familiar with the Stock Act passed back in 2013?
Let's do this. Let's hold it till next week, Tuesday on. When I have an open show, let's talk about it then. We'll have more time because I'm out of it now.
Okay.
All right.
Tuesday?
Yeah. Tuesday or any time after when you hear an open show. All right?
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
I'll do that. Okay.
And we'll be back.
You work hard, and Labor Day.
On Monday. We'll be back with you Tuesday. Talk to you then. News is next, and then we'll be back with Focus.
Broadcasting from the